Right, so I'm changing the oil. There's the drain plug, the pan for the oil, hopefully that's enough. And in there, I might have to take the exhaust off. I need to get this out, which is the strainer. You don't have an oil filter on this as such. I've changed the oil before on this, but I've never changed this. I've never cleaned the strainer, so I think the reason why was because I couldn't get to it, because I didn't have a socket that would go in between that gap. But anyway, there. That's the new sump plug I put on it. I think it was a magnetic one. But anyway, I shall get on with it. There she blows. Yeah, I must have got a magnetic one last time. It's got a little magnet on the end, so I'll probably find some iron filings on that. I last changed the oil, worked out it was about 2004 miles. Now the booklet for the Ruckus says that you could do it every 2,500 miles, but I think that's way too much, and I think I've left it too long as well. But my saving grace is using some quite decent brand of oil. I don't actually have enough to redo it again. This is 4T 10W30. So rather than buying some more expensive stuff, oh actually this is an empty one. This is for my other bike, my Ninja 900 Ninja, but this is 10W40, so I'm going to use some of that in it as well. It's the same make, but it's quite expensive oil, so I've just paid out about 40 quid for one of these from a rip-off brand we've got in England called Halfords. And I probably could have got it cheaper online if I'd got it in advance and not panicked at the last minute when I had to change the oil. Yeah, so I'm going to be mixing those two. I think that temperature is just the viscosity of it when it's hot, I think. There wasn't that much iron filings on it, but I do recommend getting one of these because they will save your engine a slight bit than having metal fragments flying around in your engine, possibly going up to the piston rings. Okay, when you finish draining you can torque it back up. It's 14mm. You can't read it, can you? 14. 14mm ratchet head you need for it, and you need to tighten it to 25 Newton meters or 18 foot-pounds of torque. It's not very much. That's enough to hold it. I'm reusing the same washer. It was a new washer last time, and it doesn't seem to have compressed much. And it's a new cap. I do recommend getting these caps. They look nicer as well. It's like anodized aluminium or something, I don't know. But I'm sure you can get them in whatever colour you like. So anyway, next thing, I'm going to take the exhaust off and get to the strainer and see how bad that is, because I never did that last time, as I said. I'm loving this cutout in the plastic here. It makes it so you can get a long reach ratchet up to get to the exhaust manifold. Okay, so I've dropped the exhaust. I haven't taken it off totally. I tried to cheat instead of taking that oxygen sensor off as well. I can't remember how hard that is to get off now. That wire down there. So basically it's hanging up by a bungee strap. It's just down there. The nuts that came out were 6mm Allen keys, and 6mm Allen keys and one 10mm bolt holding the rear thing to the fender. Now I should be able to get to the oil screen, as they call it. Just up there. I remember now why I didn't get that thing off. It was over tightened, and basically nothing I use on it would stop the corners from rounding off. So made a pretty gnarled job of it, but I've managed to loosen it. So I'm not doing it up tight again, I'll tell you that. I'm going to try and buy another one if I can, because that is no good. Okay, so it's got a cap on it, and a spring, and hang on, let me think how this goes. Let me put it back on. Right, that goes there, and then there's a little mesh thimble, and that's fairly clean. There's not much. Oh, there's a bit of swarf in there, or is that just oil? That's just oil bits. That is pretty clean. I'm going to get a piece of cloth or something in there, or spray some carb cleaner in or something. Anyway, I'm going to clean it off, but I wish I hadn't touched that nut now. If I'd known it was going to be this clean, I wouldn't have touched it. But anyway, there you go. So that's how it sits in the engine. This bit pokes out, and then the spring goes on, and then the cap goes on. But as you can see, the edges are a bit dodgy. If you are taking it off, that's a 17mm socket, and only use one with 6 sides. Don't use the ones that have got 12 partial sides, because you will round it off. I'll see if I've got one. There you go. These sort of ones. They are absolute junk for getting off aluminium or delicate metal nuts, and they're good. You need to use the 6-sided ones so you get full full grip on it, not just gripping the corners. When you put these back in, you have to coat the O-rings with oil. Okay, so I've tightened it back up now. I've checked it was meant to be 20 Newton meters of torque. I can't fit a torque wrench in there because of this plastic bit, which I'm not prepared to take off. So I've just done it hand tight. It's even less torque than the sump plug. Where is he? The sump plug would have been, that was 25. So it doesn't have to be much at all, but I've heard that Honda dealers tend to go way over the top with it, and it ends up in ruining nuts like that. I've watched some video on somebody talking about Honda Grom, and every bolt he undid, he ruined getting off because of Honda manufacturer or Honda dealer. That plastic tray underneath the fuel tank, I said I wasn't going to take off. Well, when I was undoing the exhaust, when I was doing up the exhaust nuts, I dropped one, it fell on that plastic and rolled along there and went down there. But luckily, with the aid of, well, you can see them over there, some neodymium magnets, and you basically just put it on the side and put it on the side and then just roll it up there till you can get another magnet on the other side on the inside and get it. So I've it's supposed to be 0.6 of a litre of oil, so I've measured up what I think is about 600 millilitres, so I'm just going to pour that almost all in and then check the level. It's sort of meant to be between the top and the bottom mark on the chevrons on the dipstick, but unfortunately it's all the way up to the top, so I've slightly overfilled it, but I think the bottom is the minimum and the top is the maximum, so I filled it up to the maximum, so it's just about allowable. But it is worse to have too much oil in there than have it under the mark, I believe. But there you go. Let's see if Okay, well, all seems to be alright. I'm going to take it for a test run in a minute, shouldn't be any problems. What was the other thing I was going to say? Oh yeah, I couldn't find the torque wrench settings for the exhaust manifold, the exhaust bracket. Torque settings, so I've just gone with what the Ruckus boys said on one of their videos. I've done it to German specs, good and tight. So yeah, I've got to do something about that nut there. I'll have to renew that at some stage. But saying that, I haven't tightened it up like Honda do, so should be able to get undone quite easily. Anyway, that's the oil change and screen clean on the Honda Zoomer.